Do you train women?
I used to say no for a whole bunch of reasons, actually. But yeah, I do. Um,
Share your reasons with the class.
so my reasons with the class. Well, so when I had the gym, I had a lot of, I say a lot of female class, probably 60% of the members.
Yeah.
My because it was a PT studio thing, so it was like group personal training, and I had some private personal training clients as well. And something I found working with them in person was that there was a general unwillingness to follow my instructions as given. I contrast that with the groups of lads that I trained,
Mm.
who were very disciplined. Not so much in the sessions, like they were very obedient in the sessions, but the stuff outside of sessions that I would set them to do generally wouldn't get done. Definitely like motivation issues that I don't see in men. So probably going to get like cancelled and arrested for saying that, but I just think when it comes to fitness, the average woman just isn't as serious
Mm-hmm.
as the average man, which makes them not ideal clients. However, what I have also found is that the ones that have insisted on coming to me, despite my very male coded marketing over the last couple of years, have been really good and outperforming the men on some occasions
Yeah.
because I think they're like little salmons swimming up against a raging river, and if they manage to make it all the way to the top, then they're the cream of the crop, aren't they?
Yeah.
So, so I'm not ideologically opposed to training women, but I'm very particular about the women that I will choose to train, and they have to be able to. I mean, the best filter I've got actually is with the Phil Timon letter, the bonus book that only Phil Timon letter subscribers can have. It's called Lift, and the subtitle is an open letter to every man who has ever wanted a powerful physique. And I think in the introduction, I've written a fair bit about why the book isn't for women. And if they can overlook that and actually have they're able to understand that really there's no functional difference between the way that men and women should train, then those are those are the sort of ladies I'll work with. Yeah.
Mm.
So
But it's my favourite book, isn't it?
yeah, you
Despite
love it. Yeah, despite that. Yeah, but it is because it's not so much that it's not written for women in that women can't use the teachings, because women can absolutely use the teachings. As I said, there's no functional difference between how men and women should train. I mean, there are certain circumstances like pre and postnatal, because obviously men can't get pregnant, or maybe they can nowadays. Who knows? But yeah, there's differences there, and there are like for more kind of advanced like strength training stuff. There are considerations around builds, pelvis widths and things you need to take into account when you're kind of working with high level women in person. But broadly speaking, typical man and the typical woman who just want to be strong and in shape for the sake of themselves, their family, and people who matter to them, really should all be doing the same stuff. And that's probably why Lift resonated so much with you. And the program in there as well got you built you a lovely foundation of strength that you're still profiting from now, didn't it?
it did. I think the filter with the book is attitudinal, isn't it? And it's very direct.
Oh yes, it's extremely direct. I mean, yeah, it's extremely direct. It's extremely direct, and I think men are less emotional about their training. That's a definite thing, and I don't understand female emotions. Like I don't understand your emotions a lot of the time, do I?
No.
So I just kind of tell you what to do and you do it, and then I just tell you if you're upset about something, I show you to work it out,
Yeah.
and it work. So anyway, that's on women.
My next question, and you've answered it, but you might have something else to add. Why are women different to train? And do they, like, programmatically and physically, are there differences in the way they should train?
So women are different to train principally because they are generally not as serious about training as men. And those few that are golden and brilliant and really responsible to everything and then some. So there's that. Um, the principal difference between men and women that I found is around, like as I said to you, that emotional aspect of training, um, and how you, you have to. It's that's the bread.
Turn that on.
Cool.
Carry on.
Um,
Particularly that should be doing.
Programmatically, well, yeah, like I said, um, at the novice to early intermediate stages, no, not really. I mean, you need to consider the fact that women are going to struggle comparatively more with things like with upper body lifts. So overhead presses and bench presses and rows are generally going to progress a lot slower with ladies than they do with gentlemen, but not remarkably so. Um, Women are generally carrying more body fat around on them as well. As a rule of thumb, like the average trained woman carries more body fat, and that obviously makes it harder for them to meet certain strength standards. So I've got to be in my bonnet that everyone should be able to body weight press, body do an over do an overhead press with their own body weight. So if you weigh 60 kilos, you should be able to press 60 kilos overhead for a single. I believe there's no reason that women can't do this, but the reason that they particularly struggle with it is that they're often carrying a far more body fat than they are prepared to admit. And obviously, there is the difference in the distribution of muscle tissue. There's less of it in the upper body, so it does take longer for them to achieve those targets, but they absolutely still can. So yeah, there we are.
Cool. Do you train Jess?
Do I train Jess? Not really. You have my material, don't you? You proofread all my stuff and you've read all my books, some of which you've enjoyed, some of which you haven't enjoyed so much, but whatever. And then you use critical thinking and you just get on with it. I don't train you in person. I think it was you pretty much refused to come to the gym with me for like the first 4 years of our relationship, didn't you?
Yeah.
You hated it. So I don't know why that was, but hey, whatever. We train together now, like we lift together, but we do our own thing. You really get what my kind of coaching clients get in that you get the printed materials. Obviously, you get the full time letter every month because you read it and proofread it for me, and then you can ask me questions about it, and I'll answer you in detail a lot of the time, and then it's down to you to engage critical thinking to figure out how to make it work for you. Something I've noticed that's quite cute is that when I do something new, you copy me a few weeks later.
I was about to say, please, I give you permission to share the Phil plus two, I call it.
Well, Phil plus two rule,
two
yeah,
weeks.
because like so it start. I think I first noticed this in a big way when I decided to quit the gym, ditch the gym membership in like April or May, wasn't it? It was
It
earlier
wasn't
this. No, because I was just fed up with the sheer number of women filming first trap content in our gym. That's actually the reason why I quit. I just got pissed off with it. Just it was too much. Too much. There was one girl I remember who would go in and she'd sit in front of the squat rack and stretch in basically a pair of see-through leggings whilst filming herself, and then like do hip thrusters. But you know that's disgusting. But what's really irritating is that she'd take up one of the few squat racks for like probably 40 minutes before she started actually doing any training. There was that. So that's why anyway. That's why I quit the gym. And I started doing bodyweight training in the park with the weighted vest, and that was the seed of what became Bodyweight Buccaneer, and latterly Operation Winnow, which is going to be November's issue of the Phil Timon letter. So if you subscribe now before November, then you'll get it for 20 quid, or you can buy it later when it'll probably cost a couple of hundred or so. So there's that bit of a plug. So yeah, no, but then originally you were really what was it, oppositional to the idea, should we say? You didn't like it, you weren't convinced, and then you saw how it was working for me and how actually it was really nice, and then you decided to quit the gym as well,
Yeah.
and started doing the same bodyweight regime as me. And then when I started to reintroduce some lifting, because you can't run a pure bodyweight program even with a weighted vest for a long time without developing kind of imbalances and stuff, particularly in the shoulders. The shoulders are particularly vulnerable to damage from body weight only regimes because you can't do vertical pressing. It's because you can do handstand push-ups. Well,
Yeah, well,
like if you
even
can
I
do
can't.
handstand push-ups, you don't, you're not going to have problems with your shoulders because you are top 1% of people who can do a true handstand push-up. When most people do handstand push-ups, all they're actually doing is a very high inclined regular push-up. So it's still a horizontal press. The shoulder's still not getting that
What?
downward pressure stimulus
Yeah.
that goes a long way towards keeping it healthy. So I introduced some lifting back in, and you were, oh, I'm not really sure I want to do that. So I did it for a few weeks, and a couple of weeks later, Jess is in the gym with me again. It's quite cute.
Yeah.
And even with diet, obviously, I'm not a diet guy. Don't come to me for diet advice. If you become a client, I'm not going to give you diet advice because I'm not a dietitian. But I've changed the way I'm eating to something that's very loosely based on Vince Gironda's maximum definition diet from the 1980s. I think he wrote it. Maybe I don't know. I probably just made. I think I should make that up. It's one of Vince Gironda's. I didn't make that up. And Jess has decided to. A couple of weeks later, I'm noticing that she's eating broadly the same as me. Although you still have a bit of bread with breakfast, don't you?
Yeah, because actually, having read your stuff, I realise that there is a difference between men and women, and I've been thinking critically.
Yeah, women have a sexual relationship with carbohydrate. They really do.
Yeah, and I mean, as a currently breastfeeding woman, my dietary needs are different to yours. I think
Yeah,
that's one of the things that you've taught me to think for myself with your
yeah.
books,
You
and then I
decide
just
to do
kind
what
of
you want to do. Yeah,
follow.
yeah.
Cool. Well, this question's kind of presumptive, but I think you'll like it. Why do you like training with your wife?
It's just nice to have a bit of company, really. It's a little bit inconvenient because it slows me down. You know me. I like to be. I like training density is the variable that I make most use of for progression. So that's doing as much work as I can, or trying to increase the amount of work I do in a given in a defined period of time. That's another Vince Gironda thing, by the way. Learned that from reading his stuff. Um, but yeah, the it's harder because obviously there's a bit of a gulf between what you're lifting and what I'm lifting. But we found ways around that, haven't we? So
Yeah,
whereas before we would do I go, you, we would
you're
do
set
set for
for
set.
set.
So set for set. So we'd be loading and unloading the weights. Now what we do is exercise for exercise. So um, I get to do, 3, 4, 5 sets, and then you do 3, 4, 5 sets, whatever it is you want to do on the barbell or whatever bit of kit we're using. That only works though if you're really conscious about your rest periods because it
For the
takes me,
sake of the other
yeah,
person,
it takes me maybe 3 to 5 minutes
three to five
to
sets.
complete an
Yeah.
exercise. Oh, well, that's probably a bit longer than that actually, but it doesn't take me long to do it. So you don't get cold while you're waiting.
No.
So you have to be really mindful of the other person. But
Mhm.
that's good from a training density point of view.
We also have some other bits of kit that mean I can do a few bits whilst I can do other
Yeah.
exercises whilst you're doing your
Or I
exercise.
or like I'll do pull-ups while you're doing something on the bar or whatever because
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it directly in front of you because that's really distracting. But like where you're resting, I
Thank you.
might jump up and do some pull-ups or whatever. The The other thing, you asked me why I like it, but yeah, no, I mostly like it for the company, and also it's nice to see you developing in your training, progressing, particularly since you've been doing the bodyweight stuff, like your form in all of your core movement patterns is vastly better. But that's just I suppose, a natural consequence of doing thousands upon thousands of reps of squats, pulls, and pushes with your bodyweight, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
for sure. What if your daughters are or aren't into training?
it's not really my problem. I'm not going to train my kids. I don't train kids. Ugh, can't think of anything worse, even my own. Um, Obviously, I would like them to train. It's my preference for them to train, but ooh, whether or not they do is ultimately going to be down to them. But because I want them to train, then I need to show them what that looks like and lead by example. And we're getting that, aren't we? Connie is a regular fixture in our workout session, but we don't tell her to train. We just say that, oh, we're training now, and 9 times out of 10 she wants to come in and she does some squats and overheads. She did her first two hands anyhow the other day. That was cool.
Share about Marcus yesterday because
Oh,
that was fun.
Marcus. Yeah, well, Marcus isn't a girl.
It's
Or maybe he is.
amazing.
It's up for him to decide,
Yeah,
according to the moderns.
it's
Um,
descriptive of our attitude, I guess.
Yeah, no. So Marcus, he came in to lift with us yesterday, which was really nice, and he was doing a little strongman loading race. We had like a 1.25 kilo plate, a 2 kilo plate, a 2.5 kilo plate, and a 5 kilo dumbbell, and the little bench, and he was loading them up, taking them down, and he was really dead proud of himself, wasn't he?
He was. It was really
And he
cute.
was putting his put. He saw I was doing clean and presses, and he was doing clean and presses with a little 2.5 kilo plate just to copy me, which was really sweet. But again, like we've never even really talked about training in front of Marcus. He's
No,
just naturally wants to be involved, and hopefully, they will continue to be involved. I'm not. I say I don't like training kids, but it's not just I've got an aversion to children. I genuinely think that fostering independent and natural enjoyment of basic movement
yeah,
is far more beneficial for children, young people, than giving them putting them through a formal weightlifting regime or even having them join a sports team and do formal sports. I genuinely think that they should be spending a good 3, 4, 5 years just like finding out how their bodies work and move and lifting things in different ways and ways that perhaps don't make a lot of sense and figuring out what works and what doesn't for them. And
Mhm.
then that's I can't think of a better grounding than that. But
Watching Marcus trying to muscle up
yeah,
the 5 kilo dumbbell yesterday because it was slipping through his
yeah,
hands, watching his grip
yeah,
develop, it was
yeah.
really interesting.
The other thing as well is all about ownership, isn't it? Like they're taking our kids are already taking ownership over their exercise. They choose when they do it. They choose what they do,
Yeah,
and they do it, and they want to do it because they see us doing it, and they see us, not complaining about it, not making a fuss, not bitching about how hard training is. Like we just get on with it, like we get on with our work every day.
yeah.
So cool. Well, that's 15 minutes and 55.
Cool. Well,
That's good.
I think you've answered the last one. Let me just do my last question because
Okay.
I've written it. But what are your hopes for our daughters' futures when it comes to fitness and health?
I would like them to have a smart, sustainable relationship with exercise. I mean, what serious parent wouldn't? Whether they want to get involved in lifting, whether they do gymnastics, whatever they want to do, I don't really care. My preference is that they do something, and the only thing I can do to make sure that happens is to continue attending to my own training in a unobtrusive, um, ordinary way.
Yeah, non-dramatic.
Non-dramatic, not this extreme stuff. I don't want to see. I want my kids to see me coming back from a run like lying on the floor in a puddle of sweat or something. That's not good.
No.
Nor do I want them to see me hobbling around injured because I've been pushing it too hard in the weight room. So yeah.
Perfect.
All right, good. Well, that's the video. If you've gotten all the way through, you need to like the video and you need to subscribe to the channel as well. And I know there are people who listen to this who are not subscribed because they're telling me that they're listening to it and they're enjoying the podcast through Phil's Gym Facebook group or through my emails. And I've looked on the subscriber count because I've only got like 11 and they're not included in them. So if
That's more
that's
than
you,
last week.
please just subscribe. It helps my ego massively. The other thing I was going to say is that you should definitely subscribe to my daily email newsletter if you're not already. It's even better than this podcast because I'm a much better writer than I am a speaker, and you can opt in via the my homepage, philtimon.co.uk. There's a big green button. Click it, put your email address in. You know how to sign up to a newsletter because you're not thick. You'll get a book as well when you do it. It's quite a short book. It's How to Build Muscle and Strength Slowly. It's the fourth edition of it, but it's an overview of a very simple system, well, my 2 and 2 system, which is kind of the foundation of everything I teach, really.
Yeah,
So, yeah, Jess likes it.
I
So
do.
there we are. All right, that'll do for today. Thank you.